It's Friday, Dan Sileo, National Football Show. Hot damn, baby. Football is here. See, I'm not going to sit around and talk about some commie sport like baseball. I'm going to change my name to a prophylactic. The Guardian. I thought the Guardian was a prophylactic. Holy cow. Look, I saw that story this morning that the Indians now are changing their name to the Guardians. And, of course, you had a woke dude and Tom Hanks involved with it. I didn't know the Indians. I didn't know that was a bad terminology. Thank God that the Florida State Seminoles don't subscribe to any of this crap. You know, they're Teflon, man. They go hand in hand with FSU. They were asked, like, hey, aren't you offended that Florida State is, like, you know, is using your name, the Seminoles, the Seminole Indian tribe? They're like, no, we have a great relationship with FSU. It's an honor to be involved with Florida State. Just like you would think that the Indians, it would be an honor that they would be able to recognize some of the greatest American Indians that have ever lived, but we don't look at things like that. Indians is not a bad terminology when it comes to a particular race. It's not. So what's bad? The Indian motorcycle too? When is it going to stop? Look, I get the Redskin stuff. I get it. Okay? The red face on the helmet. Okay, all right. You want that? Sure, okay. If it offends people, fine. Okay. Spectacular, whatever. Do I have more important things in my life to worry about whether the Cleveland Indians change their name or not? I really do. I don't really care what they do. But watch this, if it wigs you out and that's high on your agenda that bugs you, I bet you anything spilt milk and burnt toast bugs you. Okay? Spilt milk and burnt toast. Jesus criminy, man. I really don't get it. The Cleveland Indians. The most important name in that whole thing is Cleveland. You think you really identify the Cleveland Indians? I'm not. Hey, by the way, this is something I'm going to boycott. Okay? This is something I'm going to boycott. I'm not calling them the Guardians ever. I'm never going to call them the Guardians. I'm going to call them the Indians because there's nothing derogatory towards that. And if you want to make it, I am boycotting that. You will always be in my heart the Cleveland Indians. Now, I have given into the Washington team thing. I think it looks kind of like European soccer and all that. Like, you know, like Washington FC or something. It's kind of unique. I don't think they really should go out and get another name. I kind of like the way that they're handling it now. The Cleveland Guardians. Hey, don't you realize people are laughing at you? But you know what you're going to get. See, let's find something else now to go after. You know, the Indian Motorcycle Company. What are you going to do? I don't know why I'm sounding and looking like a simp. I think I'm going to change my name to Dan Sileo, because my name offends people too, the last name. I'll just tell the guys, hey, if I've talked sports in your particular market, I've offended you. So I'm going to call my name Dan Smith. Or no, just Dan S. Okay? It's Dan S. Or the dude formerly known as Sileo. Maybe I'll pull something out of the handbook of Purple Rain and my boy Prince. Maybe I'll do that. The artist formerly known as Dan Sileo is now Symbol. I'm goofing on you. Bunch of turds. Changing the name of the Cleveland Indians. I can't wait to get Tony Bruno on at the bottom of the hour for this one. You know what? I went on a show in Orlando just a couple minutes ago before we did ours and got on the air here on the National Football Show. And somebody asked me what I thought about the Indian name change. I said, I don't think of it. I think it's a goof. I think it's just something to do for that side of the aisle. For the liberals out there in the world. Look at what we did. See, this is like a victory lap they'll be on now. Look at what we did. We got a Major League Baseball team to change their name. You're next. Congratulations. That's a high victory for you. You got the Indians to change their name. Did you not think that was not going to happen after they pulled the All-Star game out of Atlanta over voter rights? Look at how baseball – you think you're – hey, think of this for a second for baseball. Here's baseball's top storylines this year. Outside of Shohei Ohtani – oh, no. Wait. This is really great. This is why football is needed. Here's baseball storylines this year. Shohei Ohtani can't be the face of baseball because he's a Japanese-born dude, according to Stephen A. Smith. Okay? I don't even know where that comes from or where that is. I mean, who comes up and says that? I know who says that. The only person that can say that is a black broadcaster. That's it. You think a white broadcaster? Hey, man. Shohei Ohtani being a Japanese-born guy, he can't be the face of baseball because he doesn't speak the English. You need a translator, dude. What'd you say? Excuse me, Sileo. Hey, you got another job on your belt there for getting canned. And personally, I don't believe that. I think it's obnoxious to even go down that line. Hey, whatever happened to that story? By the way, Stephen A. Smith, what a hall pass. That's like old news already. Dude, every time that I kind of say anything remotely close to that or I'm around the perimeter, it's frontline headlines everywhere. ESPN, CBS, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. Look it up. Sileo says this about 3 NFL guys. Was a mistake. No, headlines. Stephen A. Smith says this guy's born in another country. He's not American. He needs a translator. Can't be the face of the game. That's racist in anybody's book. There's one story for baseball. I don't. By the way, he's spectacular. He's now my new favorite baseball dude to watch. Used to be Bonds. Now it's this guy. He's spectacular. I'm so rooting for him, man. Love it. Oh, here's the other storyline. They didn't do their due diligence. They pulled the All-Star game out of a city where Henry Aaron played the year Henry Aaron dies. And then they tried to honor him in Colorado. Yeah, that fit. It fit like OJ's glove going on at that case. Right? It fit like OJ's glove. If it don't fit, you must have quit. Thank you, Johnny. So you moved the All-Star game for some voter rights that you moved to a city and to a state that has tougher voting laws than what Georgia does. You didn't read the book there on that one either. Hey, Dems, read a book. There's another one. Now you're changing the name to the Cleveland Indians. Why? Because it sounds good. Well, you got some really great propaganda going in that league. So you think you're gaining fans or do you think you're losing fans? Hey, more importantly, do you think you're losing respectability in your league? Washington, I kind of got that. Okay, Redskin, you want to tie that into the N-word? If we've all done that, then so be it. Change the name. The red-faced Indian on the helmet, I had more of a problem, actually, with the logo than I did with the name. But since it's all tied into one, okay, so we move on. So the Cleveland Indians jumped into something. You know what the Indians did? They basically lit themselves on fire. My aunt always tells me this, man. Don't create a story that's not there. That's what the tribe did. They lit themselves on fire. Why? So that you could be relevant? Wait. Relevant in the news media? Is that your objective? You want to be on the side of what here? On the side of woke? See, I never got that either. I want to be on the side of right. not on the side of woke, on the side of right. You think what? Nobody, watch this. You know what? If you asked 100 Americans, 99 of them would go like this. Who cares? Who cares? But see, I'm a sports guy. And I think even if you asked 100 sports fans, they'd go, people had a problem with the Cleveland Indians name? I think if you even asked Democrats, when was that being debated? I was asked that question today, like on a radio station. I was like, I only thought it was the mascot they had a problem with. Anyway, congratulations, baseball. Those are some storylines you got going this year. How about the game itself? Oh, that's right. Bryce Harper. Hey, that's another great sign by the Phillies. Oh, hey, man, can that guy hit his body weight? Remember what he said when he first got the Philly? Oh, man, this is how you build. Bro, this is how you build your bank account. You ain't helping build that team. I don't see people from around baseball dying to play with you. You know, hey, man, this guy's one of the top. You see them gold shoes, dude? I bet you Philly fans don't even know who the guy is. They know Ben Simmons more than they know this guy. And he makes them – I think he's got to, right? He makes the most money in that city. There's nobody else, maybe Embiid, that's in the conversation that makes that kind of money. This guy makes $34 million a year, and he can't hit his body weight, and nobody wants to play for him. Congratulations to you, kid. Got it going on there. Oh, Jesus, criminy. Anyway, let's move on to a sport people care about. And we're not in the weeds with them dumbass stories. What a dopey bunch of people. The Cleveland Indians. You know what? Wait a minute. I just wish that how many minutes have I been on the air? 12 minutes. I wish to God that I could get 12 minutes back in my life right now for what I just wasted on that story. God, here I have a prayer. Can you do me a favor here? Can you please make sure when my time is at the end, please, God, give me back the 12 and a half minutes I just wasted on the stupidest story on the planet. Thank you. Dear God, thank you very much for being the savior that you are. Oh, hey, man, the Cleveland Indians. I'm sorry. Oh, man. I just got to laugh. All right, let me move on to something that I totally care about. It ain't that. That's for damn sure. So I had to do some due diligence last night and this morning on one of the most shocking things that I've heard in football over the last 28 years. This Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones story, I had to get to the bottom of it. So I text Jimmy Johnson last night, and I asked Coach, I go, Coach, did you ever hear these stories about Barry Switzer and Jerry? And what did you make of Jerry's comments? Jimmy's going to put his Hall of Fame speech out there for everybody to see in a couple weeks in Canton when they do the Hall of Fame game. They're going to have a ceremony. I guess the guys are going to only get 6 minutes because they're combining two classes when it comes to the induction speeches. You know what, Jimmy texted me back? He texted me back one word: unbelievable. That was it. Unbelievable. So I'd reach out to Kevin O'Neill, trainer I had at the University of Miami and in Dallas. I said, have you ever heard these stories? He goes, never. I had never heard these stories. Never. Nobody in the circle had ever heard this stuff before. And in case you're under a rock, Jerry Jones came and had a moment, and I'll even quote Kevin O'Neill. He finally realized it's taken all these years, 27 years later, it's taken Jerry Jones to figure out that he replaced every single person since Jimmy built that dynasty back in the 90s, except for one man. That was Jimmy. He was never able to replace him. Tried doing it with Parcells. That failed. He could never get the guy back in the building that built that great dynasty. And by the way, if Jerry was such a great architect of building championships, why hasn't he done it again? I'll give you a great example of a guy that builds, loses players, rebuilds, loses players, rebuilds. How about the job Ozzie Newsome did when he was the general manager of the Ravens? That guy rebuilt that team how many times? From the Trent Dilfer, Brian Billick to the Joe Flacco. Now you got another dynasty built here because his last draft pick was Lamar Jackson. You had three different ways of going about winning ball games, and Ozzie rebuilt the team each time. So you knew Ozzie Newsome was a hell of a general manager. You knew it, man. Jerry Jones, since Jimmy left, they've won 3 games in 25 years that were resulted from a postseason appearance. 3 postseason wins in 25 years. I brought this up yesterday to you. Tom Brady won 4 last year. He's got more victories in the NFC postseason than what the Cowboys have in the last 25 years. Remember, they were a wild card. They didn't win the division. The Saints did. Jizzoo, man. And for Jerry to do this, look, we've had Stephen Jones, the VP of the Cowboys, on this ride. And, he texts me. Can you believe what my dad said? I said no. My head so to the floor, I would have believed more than Jerry ever having that come to Jesus epiphany. I couldn't believe what I saw. I couldn't believe what I heard. And for the record, Jimmy Johnson never heard that Switzer story. Those guys are adversarial coaches, man. They hated each other. And that's why I think you don't see Jimmy making a comment about it, because I think Jimmy's going to rewrite his speech now because of that. Here, I'll tell you something else. On a personal note, I pray to God those two guys can come together because, Jerry Jones used to come down to the University of Miami all the time, and I'd see him down with his best friend, Jimmy Johnson. Those two guys would be hugging. The wives would be all together, Jimmy's first wife. And it was really a great relationship. Those guys played together at Arkansas. They won a national championship at Arkansas. They were small business partners. They're somewhat friends, but that relationship has never been the same. I hope it gets back to being what it was, because those guys together, man, they're a frightening group. Like, this is what I would do. If I was Jerry, I would hire Jimmy as an executive, assistant, just to oversee my operations, and an advisor. How are we doing? What do you think? Wouldn't you want to have the guy who brought you 3 Super Bowls in your building, knowing how you act, knowing how you respond to him, knowing that you saw him do things that you've never been able to accomplish since? Wouldn't you want that? And how about this? Wouldn't you want to at least try to get that magic back again and rub that magic lantern? I know I would. You may not get as much magic out of that lamp as you did the first time around, but that thing ain't going to be a failure with that guy. Now, Jimmy loves fishing, and he don't really like doing any of that. He loves showing up and doing his work on Fox. He does dig that. But, man, I think if you're Barry Switzer, you've got to think about lost opportunity. Or excuse me, not Switzer, Jerry. You got to think about lost opportunity. When you look at the Patriot dynasty, you must do this. Damn, man, that could have been us. Wait, one better. Damn, man. That should have been us. You just can't let that story just ride off into the sunset. That thing is special. That was a special time in the NFL. Youngest football team in the league. I was there. Youngest football team in the league wins the Super Bowl. How many more decades of football do you think you have with the youngest team in the league? And back then, you were just getting into free agency and salary cap. You had your roster set. You had everything etched in stone. And you let that bitch just roll into the sunset. That's on the owner, man. That's so on the owner not having the insight to go, hey, this is my football team. Whatever success we have, I'm going to get too. And if the freaking coach wants to get all the success today, because in the end, you know what will happen? Jerry still owes the team 25 years removed. They'll look at Jerry as, like when you look at the Steelers organization today, what comes to your mind when it comes to winning championships? Chuck Noll or the Rooneys? The Rooneys. You had consistency for 50 years in the building by only hiring 3 coaches since the first time we put a dude on the moon, Neil Armstrong, in 1969. 3 coaches. 3. You don't think about Cower and no, you think about Rooney's keeping the stability of the team rolling. And you just let that thing just unravel because, you know, if Jerry really wanted all the publicity, he should have coached the freaking team. Al Davis did. He coached his Raiders. Actually, Al Davis was a former AFL Coach of the Year. You should have just coached your team. That, I don't know, maybe he just thought that was just a little bit too over the. So wait, coaching the team or firing a Hall of Fame coach? You fired a Hall of Fame coach. What is it? Only like 7 teams have won back-to-back Super Bowls? You fired a coach that won back-to-back Super Bowls. Hey, man, I'll tell you what, having that on my resume, that don't look good either. Why'd you fire Jimmy? I don't know. He said it at his press conference. I couldn't figure. I don't know. All right. I'm going to make a statement to you. By the way, Tony Bruno's like on the highway, so I don't know. We'll try to get his ass as quick as we can. He was driving around like Delaware somewhere. Maybe he was looking for Joe Biden, or maybe he was looking for that guy, Cupcake, or whoever Joe Biden said that he used to have fight. What was his name? Crumb Cake? Or a Spike or something? I don't know, man. Or some dude that he used to fight back in the day. A Corn Puff, that's what it was. Yeah. Maybe Bruno's looking for a Corn Puff. He's rolling around Delaware. I don't know. And I saw Tony like being like a farmer or something. So we'll get his thoughts on numerous things in sports. And also, I'm going to make a statement here to you. I hate Tom Brady played in New England. I'll explain. You keep it here on the National Football Show.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on three. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
Dan Sileo, National Football Show. The Cleveland Indians. Oh, my God. It's as funny as Ben Roethlisberger's off-season workout program, backing off 3 jelly donuts to only 1 Kreller and drinking skim milk. Yeah. Oh, man. That's about the significance I have for both stories, too, man. Hey, no, I'm probably more intrigued with Ben. You know, I had someone earlier tell me I'm being a little bit too more, critical of Ben and his off-season workouts. I'm like, he waited till he was 39. Look, when you eat 3 sleeves of Oreos, take it from Big Sills. Okay? You want to put a couple LBs on. You want to drop some weight, back off the Coronas, go to lactose-intolerant milk, eat half a sleeve, don't do it before bed. Try to get it and eat that half a sleeve before 6 o'clock. I'm telling you, that's a hell of a workout program. Putting your shoes on. I'll bet you Big Ben's ready for the upcoming 2021 season. Bet your ass, man. Instead of eating 3 sleeves of Oreos and 3 jellies with sprinkles, got that guy's. I guarantee you, he's hired a strength and conditioning coach and like a food specialist from Dunkin' Donuts. I guarantee you. No doubt about it. No doubt. I'm expecting these Steelers with Najee Harris now, Ben and that specialist that he got from Dunkin' Donuts. I'm expecting that team to win 11 games again. But this time actually maybe be a player. So you go right ahead. Hey, maybe not so Big Ben should have a pretty good year this year. We're going to talk to our friend Tony Bruno real soon. Bruno's, like I said, he's in Delaware looking for corn puff. Joe Biden's guy that he had fistfights with on, basketball courts back in the day. Remember that guy when he was, going through and running for the president last year? He was talking about corn puff. So we'll maybe Bruno's looking for corn puff too, because he says he's in Delaware or he's driving around. I don't know what the hell Tony's doing. You never know what Tony Bruno's doing. And for the record, Tony Bruno is the greatest sports talk radio guy of all time. That's what I say. Okay? I say that. So we'll talk to our boy real soon. I said to you earlier, and I teased this going into the timeout, that I hate Tom Brady played in New England. I'm going to tell you why. If this dude is the dude that we've been kind of held back from seeing, the guy that's in Tampa, this guy's been held back because of Belichick. What else could he have done to promote himself in the game and the Patriots in the area he lived in if Bill had taken the handcuffs off? Are you not enjoying what you are seeing with Tom Brady now? This dude, this guy, I'm mad at Bill Belichick. You know, I saw him last night with those ungodly looking rings. By the way, I say that maybe because I'm jealous, okay? Those rings, they got to be $100,000 that the Buccaneer players got last night. Didn't it look cool, Brady? Hey, oh, watch this. Brady just opening up number 7. You know, just opening up another ring. Just like, oh, no, so nonchalant. I hate that guy. Tom Brady's got the best looking woman in the world. He's got 7 championship rings. I mean, really, man. Great looking guy. World reveres him. Athletes want to be, or, you know, men want to be him. Everybody in the NFL is jealous of him. Take a look at what Russell Wilson and all these other quarterbacks are now kicking up about. Look what Tom gets. Hey, look what he gets. How come I don't get that? And Brady's like, you know, opening up number 7. That's so in your face. And they posted that video too. If that wasn't a kick in the Guyans, I don't know what was. Here, let me kick every quarterback and all 31 other quarterbacks in the onions. Hey, let me open up number 7. Guys, hey, do you have one of these? I have 7 of them. Going for number 8, and by the way, we're favored to win it, and we're favored to go back-to-back. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. It is, man. But doesn't it look like it's a bunch of fun being around Tom Brady and being around that Buccaneer team? Right? It just looks like it's a boatload of fun. And we didn't see any of that in New England. No days off. Well, I don't know. Bruce Arians, you know what he does? He leaves the facility $1 place at 6 o'clock and he goes home. He don't spend the night there. You know, get this. I want you guys to know, I'm going to tell you a quick Bruce Arians story that ties into what I just said, that it looks like it's a bunch of fun to be a Buccaneer right now. I tried to get Bruce Arians on my national radio show. I'm on like 9 to midnight Eastern time. And of course, Bruce is down in Tampa. He goes like this, man, I'm in bed by 9. I go, what? He says, yeah, I'm in bed by 9:30. I get up real early, you know. I don't. 9:30 ain't cutting it for me. I asked him if I get him on night. He goes, no way, man. I'm already 3 cocktails in. 3 cocktails in. Guy don't spend all night doing that. He doesn't spend all night sitting around there like on a cot, you know, there at $1 place. That's not what he does, dude. Yeah, I just, you know, I just hate the fact that he played in New England. I really do, because this new Tom Brady is a cool looking dude. This guy really has shown you how much fun he's having in Tampa Bay. And it's showing you that culture that they have down there is something that other players and free agents want to come and play at. You know, maybe that was one of the reasons why we didn't get a really chance to understand that Brady maybe behind the scenes was doing a lot of recruiting to bring people up to New England to come and play for him. And what made it even more difficult was it's so much more fun watching what he's doing in Tampa. We'll talk to my friend Tony Bruno about this, but yeah, I reached out to Tony earlier, and Tony Bruno was like, he said he was like rolling around Philly, and I'm wondering if he was looking for corn puff, and maybe he was looking for corn puff there on the on the basketball courts. And now, by the way, I have a request. Farmer Tony joins us now here on the National Football Show. How you doing, TB?
I'm doing great, Dan. Just sitting here on the lower 40. Just made a trip over to Delaware, got some produce and some stuff, and then drove by and stopped by a couple of cornfields, did a couple of Farmer Tony tip for the day videos. I just had one. There was a couch laying out on a road out here in the middle of New Jersey, Danny, and then there was a couch, and I said, I got to go out there and sit in the couch looking at the cornfield. You know, Corn Pop was a bad dude, and I was waiting for him. And I also said, you know, if the Cleveland Indians build it, they will come, except they're not the Cleveland Indians anymore. What the hell is going on out there, Dan? I'm just trying to relax in the countryside and forget about all this crap anymore, man.
I know. Hey, Tony, it confused me too. I was like, so you named your team after a prophylactic? I'm like, I mean, I don't know what's going on, Tone. I mean, hey, Tone, by the way, the hat fits you, brother. I mean,
I'm getting ready to crank up some Kenny Chesney, have a couple cocktails, do my show tonight at 7:00 on No Filter. So I want everybody to tune into that. 7:00 Eastern time. We have a good time. It's unfiltered. We say what we want. We talk about everything. I'll rip in baseball. I'll rip for. It's not my style to criticize, as you know, Dan, as long as we've known each other. But there's a lot of things that I have to get off my chest this week. And then the audience gets involved, too. That's what's great about it. It's not just me telling people what to say, what to think, what to do. I just give my opinions, and you do whatever the hell you want.
Follow me here, Tony. Here's baseball storyline. So Stephen A. Smith says that a Japanese guy can't be the face of the game. They pulled the baseball all-star game with the year Henry Aaron dies. Guy played in Atlanta to a state that has tougher voting laws in Colorado than Georgia. And now you're changing. And by the way, I got the mascot. I thought I heard something about the mascot a year ago. So the Indian name now is offensive to people. I'm just saying, hey, Tone, is Italians now? Is that offensive too? I mean, just help us out here a little bit.
My team, the Stunads, I guess we're going to have to change their name. I got a team, the Stunads. I got the South Philly Wops. I guess I'm going to have to change that. I mean, I don't know what the Goombas. I mean, how can the word is Indian? It's not even the Braves. Braves were a part of the what should we call these teams now? What's wrong with calling a team the Indians? I get the Chief Wahoo logo was offensive, but they got rid of that. As you mentioned, they got rid of the Chief Wahoo. Now they got to change Indians to Guardians. What are they going to have? That Wookiee on there from the Guardians of the Galaxy and that little furry dude? What was the guy's name in that thing? Groot. Is Groot going to be the face of the Cleveland Guardians now? Guardians? What the hell is that?
They should call them the Stugats. That's just from an Italian to another.
Exactly right. That's a good one. They should just call them the Cleveland LeBrons. Then they could be happy because he got him a championship before he got the hell out of there again.
Hey, Tone, speaking of that, let's roll into the Olympics and the pro. I'm with you, man. I'm going to go around the world like Jim McKay would say, span the globe with you here. The protesting at the Olympics, and now LeBron James's company is coming out saying that Rule 50 is a bad idea, that taking away the voices and the rights for athletes to protest on podiums. What's your thoughts, Farmer Tony, on this one?
Well, again, I don't care what athletes do. If they want to protest, I mean, look what's happening in football now. You got DeAndre Hopkins, the best receiver in football, says he doesn't want to take the shot. He'd rather retire because he's an athlete and he doesn't know how it's going to affect him. Now, again, I'm not telling people not to take shots. The one thing, Dan, when you're talking about the vaccine and that stuff, everybody says, I tell people if they want to take the shot, take the shot. If you don't. And so, but if you don't tell them to take the shot, then they think you don't want them to take the shot. That's the problem. I don't give a crap what people do. But as far as the protesting, you know what? You pay the price. Look at the poor American women's soccer team. There's 3 women on there who always stand up, right? The girl from New Jersey here. You got Zach Ertz, his wife. There's 3 American girls on that soccer team that stood up for the anthem. The other ones all kneeled. So what happened? They lose to Sweden's 3-0, and now you got Americans turning on them as on Americans. And it's all about the court of public opinion. To me, when you get the majority of people in this country who respect the country and respect the flag and respect the anthem against the minority fringe groups that want this stuff all taken away, you're losing your audience. That's why the NBA ratings went down. That's why the baseball all-star game was the lowest rated of all time. People don't tune into sports. You know this. They don't tune in to hear political theater. They want to tune in to watch a game, to watch their favorite athletes. They don't want to hear this crap. They don't want to see LeBron James crying. Meanwhile, his movie's not playing in China after he sucked up to them for years and allowed the same place to make his Nike shoes with slave labor. And now he's mad that his movie bombed in the United States because the billion people in China won't be able to go see it. Too bad, LeBron. Go to China. I'll rent a plane. I'll get Bezos to put him on that penis-shaped rocket ship and shoot his butt right into Beijing, right in the middle of it, bam, and crash land right in Beijing and leave him over there.
Spoken like a true astronaut farmer there. Tone, you mentioned the vaccinations. Here's my problem with the NFL now getting involved into politics. I like how they position this too. Okay, so regular season games will be forfeited. I said this. We already know that Josh Allen, he came out publicly, the quarterback for the Bills. I haven't been vaccinated. Dak was asked the question the other day if he's been vaccinated. He says that's a private thing. You know this for a fact. NFL gets into the postseason. That team comes down with an outbreak. You ain't forfeiting playoff games, and you surely ain't forfeiting the Super Bowl when you got $7.5 million per 30-second spot that's going on in that game. They're playing politics with people in the court of public opinion. Is that how you see it?
Absolutely. And Roger Goodell, just when you think he can't make another stupid move, he makes an even stupider move. I mean, get it. Listen, everybody's got to be safe, but they're all, basketball players had the masks on the sidelines, and then they're playing and bumping into guys during the game and sweating all over them. I mean, the rules are just so convoluted. Nobody knows what the rules are. They change every 10 minutes. And so to me, football players, wear the shield, wear a mask. I don't care what you do. But when you start dictating to private citizens, now, I don't know what their contract says, but if the NFL has a clause in the contract, now they're not allowed to take steroids. They are allowed to smoke weed, I guess. Well, the NBA, you have to smoke weed or they won't allow you in there. But in the NFL, you can't do any kind of drugs. But now you got to do a drug that hasn't really been approved, and a drug that a lot of athletes whose bodies, they spend a lot of money taking care of themselves and their health. They don't know what's going to happen to them 10 years from now. DeAndre Hopkins is a young guy. Yes, he's got more money than God. And, if I was DeAndre Hopkins and I didn't want to take the shot, I'd retire too. I got more money than God in the bank. So why am I going to go out there and be told what to do when I'm one of the best players? And now, if the NFL gets a lot of players, a lot of big name players, you know how this works, Dan. If a lot of big name players say, now this is a bunch of crap, then you watch them spin this around, and they'll go back and say, after second thought, we need to come up with another plan. Because that's what they did last year during the COVID. We're not going to play. We're not going to have training camp. Or we're not going to be able to do this. Baseball's not going to be able to play 30 games, 40 games, 50 games, 60 games. So they're just going to keep throwing this around. Training camp, you'll see a lot of guys not show up. And then when the season starts and they realize they need to make a lot of money to put these games on TV, and it doesn't matter if they shut the country down again, because the games will be on TV, and the gamblers will be able to watch it with an empty stadium, with no announcers. To me, it's all about the television revenue, and that's what they're going to protect, and that's why they don't care about anything else, Dan. They're going to go with the wind. They're going to stick their finger in the air and see which way the wind's blowing. And then once the big name players all say, the hell with this, then you watch Roger Goodell backpedal like Michael Jackson in the Thriller video. He'll be backpedal. He'll be back dancing all the way from New York City all the way down to Miami Beach. That's how much he'll be backpedaling. What's it called when Michael? What's that dance that Michael Jackson did? The moonwalk. That's right. He'll be moonwalking all the way to space with Jeff Bezos and the other rich guys out there who are throwing away billions of dollars to go 15 miles in the sky. I mean, how ridiculous. They're all excited about going up 15 miles when in 1969, they had the technology that's in your cell phone is more technologically advanced, and they landed on the moon. And now we're going crazy that a billionaire can build a rocket to go 15 miles in the sky or whatever it was, 50 miles, and then float around for a couple minutes and then land again. And I'm supposed to be impressed by that.
So you're not. So Branson, hey, I'm more impressed with you gunning that beard than Branson and Bezos, bro.
Hey, I actually was able to find some Modelo bottles, Dan. This has been the Modelo special.
Fighting Modelo in Philly, man. I mean, hey, that's a find for you, isn't it?
No, Modelo, I'm here in Jersey. I'm in the Jersey sticks here, man. Modelo has become, I guess there's been a bottle shortage. So finally I'm not making this up. There's a shortage of everything. But Modelo, I'd go to a local liquor store here, and people were carrying them out by the cases. It was like toilet paper during the pandemic. You couldn't find sanitizer. You couldn't find Modelo in the bottles. And, this is a very special beer. It's great cerveza, as you know, Dan.
Oh, absolutely.
Really
I'm a big proponent of it too. That and Corona. Hey, Tone, did you wish Ben Simmons a happy birthday the other day? 2 days ago was Ben's birthday, and I was just wondering, you being a big time Philly backer, and we had your boy Howard Eskin on the other day. He refuses to call Doc Rivers Doc because he says that's only for Dr. J. He's Glenn now. It's just Just your thoughts on how that thing, how that whole thing played out.
Howard and I go back 50 years in the business together. So, we goof off on Twitter. I call him names and he calls them names back. And then people think we're really fighting. So that's what I love about social media. You can bust your friend's chops on there. And then all the other people who have no clue immediately jump in and take sides. And people who don't like me rip me. People who like Howard rip him. And it's just fun and games on there. But, Howard and I have both been anti-process guys from the beginning. And so I'm not happy that the 76ers got eliminated, especially the Milwaukee Bucks went on and won. Who knows what would have happened if the Sixers were able to beat the Atlanta Hawks? But they couldn't. And now they're going to bring out, Tyrese Maxey, who's a nice young player, to throw out the first pitch of the Phillies game. They should have bring in Trae Young to throw out the first pitch. He's the guy that knocked them out of the playoffs. The Sixers lost to the Atlanta Hawks and Trae Young. Why don't you bring Trae Young out to a Phillies game? He's the guy that Philadelphia realized was the guy that ended the basketball season in this town.
How about this too, Tone? A couple more here for you, T. I loved when I saw Giannis win that championship for Milwaukee. Tell you why. He didn't have a big-time number 2 guy like a Scottie Pippen. He promised in 2014 that he would not leave Milwaukee until he ended up winning a championship or at least building a championship culture. I just thought it was so old school, him just going there and winning that title for the first time in 50 years. It really showed you it was an old school type journey that he went on to win that championship.
And remember, he's a guy who's not even from here. Here's a guy from Greece, right? Guy who came from another country, played basketball, comes to the United States and loves this country. And when you see a guy like him, the Greek freak, and he's going to Chick-fil-A the next morning, like a regular guy, and ordering 50 chicken nuggets because he dropped 50 points to win the championship, and he's laughing. What's that? No, I know it was 50 years, but he also dropped 50 on the Phoenix Suns.
So Robin High.
Could you see LeBron James driving through a Chick-fil-A and having fun with it? He's too important. He's too self-important. Giannis the people in this country love this kid. He's just everything that you want in a basketball player. Classy kid, respects the country, speaks the language, speaks multiple languages, and loves playing basketball in a town like Milwaukee, Midwest flyover country. He's not one of these guys. He's not saying I got to go play with the Lakers. I got to go. He accepted Milwaukee, and he will always be remembered as one of the greatest players. You mentioned it. 1971, that's 50 years ago. And they've had some great teams and great players in the history of that franchise. So for him to be the face of the franchise now, I don't think he's one of these guys who's going to go somewhere else because he's won a championship. I think he's one of those guys, and again, I don't know what he's going to do, and he can do whatever he wants, but I think he's so loyal to that town, and they've been loyal to him. There'll be a statue for him within a couple of weeks. And then if they loses next year, then they'll tear it down like they tear every other statue down when people don't like what's going on. No, but the people in Milwaukee deserve that. They've been suffering a long time, and I'm happy for them. But I think Giannis right now, he's one of those guys that it's impossible to root against no matter who your favorite team is.
All right, Tone. So get Robin to get a bocce ball tournament together. It'll be the Wops versus the Dagos. I'll get the Dagos together. We'll find a place either in Jersey or in Florida somewhere. We'll get as many people that need gas masks down in Florida as possible. I don't know. We'll get as many people as we possibly.
We don't need masks in Florida, Dan. Why do you think I'm moving down there? I'm building a house in Florida. I'm moving down there. I need freedom. I want to taste. I've been to Florida 3 times since the pandemic started, and I've never been in a place where I felt more safe, where I felt the people were respectful, they were wearing masks where they had to, and you could walk outside and not have to have a bunch of idiots coming up to you and mocking you for not wearing a mask. Outside, especially when you're alone.
Those people at DAE, in case you guys don't know, Tony Bruno and he was doing radio when I was doing radio down in Tampa. Those people still to this day, Tone. The folks in Philly love you, but the folks in Tampa love you too, man. You had a great run there in Tampa and San Francisco too, kind of Italian section. Up in North Beach up there, too. Those people, I tell people, the greatest bocce ball tournament Gary Radnich and you put on was there in North Beach, getting all the Italians together. Man, those are good old times. And you know what, Tony? Those were the days when we could do radio. What was that word you like to use? Sarcasm was accepted on the radio.
Yeah.
And sarcasm today is something like, I guess people don't have it any longer because when you say sarcasm, they take it as a reality, and it's not. And that's when radio was at its best.
Well, you're right, Dan. And when sarcasm now, there's a site called the Babylon Bee, which I follow, which is like the Onion. The Onion was the originator of sarcastic tweets.
Funny site.
Their headlines are so out there that people think it's real. I mean, sarcasm now looks like it's real when they talk about the crazy stuff going on. And I retweet them. I'm one of the 85 people they follow, which is amazing when they've got millions of followers. So I've always liked them. I had the originator of the Babylon Bee on my show last year, and I asked him to follow me, and he did. And that's not because I'm following them because they're following me. I just think they're brilliant because they don't just put a funny headline out. They actually write a whole story to go along with it, and people think it's real. That's how crazy the world is. Even sarcasm, people can't see the humor in it. They actually think it's more based on reality than it is on just made up. Made up stuff now is better than reality. That's the world we live in right now.
Finally here, the Tony Bruno Farmer's Almanac for this year's version of the Philadelphia Eagles will be what?
Well, I was just out planting some tomatoes and some long yellow, what do they call them? Banana peppers, the long hots, the banana pepper. You put them on a sandwich, you get those banana peppers. They're sweet. And then you get the long hots and you put them on a nice meatball sandwich or a cheesesteak or whatever you're going to put them on. And then, so I haven't really put together the almanac yet. Training camp starts in a couple of days. So I'm going to plant some seeds tonight, NFL seeds. I got some seeds from a couple of NFL players who used to smoke, and then they would give me the seeds so I can plant it here in New Jersey because it's hard to plant them in the city. So I got the crop going. I will plant the seeds, and the Tony Bruno, Farmer Tony, NFL, Philadelphia Eagles Almanac will be coming out very, very soon. And I will have a sexy real woman on the cover of the almanac, not some transgender chick or somebody who is we want farmer. What do farmers always have? The farmer's daughter, right? If you're a farmer, are you going to put on, again, I have nothing against transsexual people. If you want to be transsexual, God bless you. If you want to be a man and pretend to be a woman, God bless you. But you're not going on the Tony Bruno, Farmer Tony, NFL, Philadelphia Eagles Almanac without a farmer's daughter on the cover. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So cannolis accepted, but not 2 onions.
Not 2 onions, exactly right. And we got to do a bocce tournament. I like the idea of but I can't be on the WAPs because I have papers. WAP was one of the original slurs against Italians when they came over on the boat. They would say you're a WAP, which means without papers. Now the people that come into this country every day by the thousands, you can't call them WAPs. You get thrown out of the country. That's what Italians were called, WAPs, without papers. People didn't know that. See what you learn on this show?
Oh no, I've been Tone, every time we talk, it is a masterpiece in itself, and this is why you're the best, my friend. Hey, throw it out tonight where people can catch you, T.
Just go to on Twitter at NoFilterNet, and then you don't have to pay to be in, but you got to. It's not something you can just tune in. So you got to go on the internet, go to at NoFilterNet or NoFilter.net. And then you'll see, click on for my picture. You got, Jeremy Roenick, the Into the Night show, as you know. But you got Jeremy Roenick. You got a lot of guys in our business who were canceled for saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing. Huh. So this company was started for no filter. We can do what we want. We'd say we want. Nobody's calling us and telling us to not talk about it. So again, we know where the lines are. We don't cross them. We just have a good time and enjoy it, and we drink while we're on the air too. I mean, where else can you drink in your studio there, Dan?
No. I just because I would urinate on myself too, so that would be a problem for me too. And I also love the fact too that in the background there you've got quite a director there in Robin. She's lovely, and I love her. You know the lovely Robin, right? Robin, I love you. Tony, have a great one. You got it, Robin. I love you guys, man. I'll talk to you, Tony.
All right, Dan. Thanks for having me on, brother.
You got it, man. That's my boy, Tony Bruno. I got to take a time out. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
but as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
As long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
Welcome back to the National Football Show. You can never get enough of Tony Bruno. I met Tony Bruno, God, 98, something like that, 1998. He and I started Fox Sports Radio together. We were the very first hires by Premier Radio. It's a syndication arm of iHeartMedia. And the first two people they hired me. The former CEO, Randy Michaels, had me in Tampa, found me in San Francisco. I was doing radio out in San Francisco, and I got a job in Tampa. And he was like, I got to have that guy on this network. And then the second guy was Tony Bruno. And I think I got a picture. Oh, yeah, here it is. It's really great that I would have that right here. Isn't that crazy? So there's a picture of Jim Rome, Big Sills, Craig Kitchen, who's Jim Rome's boss. There's Jim Rome himself. And there's the legendary Tony Bruno. Right there. And we were out there with Rush Limbaugh. And I was friends with Rush because the guy that found me, Randy Michaels, found Rush. And I got a chance to go down and sit and watch Rush Limbaugh do radio down when he was doing his show out of Florida. And I'll never forget, Tony Bruno goes, "Hey, can I come?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I don't care." So iHeart had, then it was called Clear Channel, had set it up that we could go down there. We were just shooting the crap with them. Man, it was such a great trip. Tony left early, but he sat around for about 2 days. I sat down for the whole week down there with him. And God, man, Limbaugh, you talk about a sports freak. I mean, I think he started, if I'm not mistaken, I think he started in the public relations department of the Kansas City Royals. Like that was his, like one of his first jobs. Then he got a local radio job in Kansas City. And then the rest of it was history. Randy found him, and a guy named Gabe Hobbs, they all found him. And then he just started syndicating them. And right before Rush passed away, I think it was something like, what was it? 35 million people a week tuned into his show, and he was making $95 million a year. They could never cancel him. They tried a couple times. You know, they just couldn't cancel Rush because Limbaugh had so much money and so many people backed him. Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of things in his history that, hey, look, I've always said this about people that have spent a lot of time on the radio, especially somebody like Tony Bruno or Howard Eskin in Philadelphia. When you're on the radio a long time, you're going to say something that's going to offend people. I've been on almost 30 years myself. And you're going to say or do something sarcastically, kiddingly. And do you know what? When people want to use those moments against you, they can wrap it up in a bow, man. And they can get you fired. Take it from me. Take it from Tony. Take it from really anybody out there. Hell, Howard Stern, too. He got canned. Rush was almost the Teflon guy, though, because it wasn't so much that he got massive ratings. Get this. All the guys that I mentioned to you, we all had ratings, but we didn't have the gigantic revenue that Rush had. What protected Rush from saying some of the things that he said, if you just Google some of the crap that he said, I mean, you would be like this. Wow, how'd he get away with that? And you know exactly how he got away with that. He got away with that because Rush Limbaugh generated a lot of revenue. And when you're generating that kind of cash, your bosses don't want you to go. They do not want you to go. Okay. And those guys are just so hard to find anyway. So it's great to have Tony on. We'll have him on a couple times more during the football season, the college and pro football season. So let me get into a little bit here with this OU Texas stuff that's happening. We were talking about this prior to going on the air a little bit. I talked to Dennis Dodd, the head writer for college football CBS, prior to going on the air, and he said within 28 to 48 hours, this deal will be done, that Texas and Oklahoma will be part of the Southeastern Conference. Supposedly, they had been working on this for 6 months. As I said yesterday, this will be the death of the Big 12. Hey, and for the record, and for those of you out there keeping score, know this, we have Dabo Swinney on Monday. I can't wait to get Coach on Monday and ask him about all this stuff that's going on in sports that surrounds college football, because between the nil rule, the restructuring of these contracts with these teams now, making these super conferences, you know this for a fact. Now that the SEC has made a move like this, what's got to happen? Well, does the Big 12 now bring in BYU? Look, that's not going to save them, but they got a lot of money in that program. Are they going to go out and maybe potentially raid another conference, a smaller conference? If I were the Big 12, do you know who I would go after? I'd go after Houston. Get into Houston market. It's a top 10 city. Bring them into the Big 12. They've been looking for a major conference. Try to do something like that. Maybe even get SMU to go along, because then you're back in the Dallas market as well. I mean, Texas and OU, you're never going to recover from those losses, okay? But what you can do is you can kind of hang on to see how this whole thing is going to lay out. What does the Big Ten do? The Big Ten went into, why do you think, look, yeah, I know what everyone says, because there's going to be moves now that got to counter what the SEC's done here. The Pac-12 is like on an island by themselves out there. Who are they going to add? Are they going to add BYU? Make a natural rival for Utah? You've got to look now, because college football has changed within the last 48 hours. You know, everyone's like this. Well, Rutgers and Maryland didn't really do anything when it came to helping the Big Ten with better teams. You're missing the point. Why do you think the Big Ten put Rutgers and Maryland into their conference? because you get the DC market and you get the New York market with Rutgers TV and radio-wise in both those markets. This was more about television and radio and advertising dollars than whether or not Rutgers or Maryland were good. It had nothing to do with that. And when they brought Nebraska into the Big Ten, they just wanted the brand. They paid that money to bring Nebraska into the Big Ten for the brand. Their football team has sucked for 10 years. The Nebraska brand still brings money. You know how? Merchandise, great fan base. The fans are always at Lincoln Memorial Stadium. I mean, it's always a sellout. You go into Lincoln, you're always going to get a sellout if you get Michigan, Ohio State in the building there. So you got a brand that you paid for. The Southeastern Conference getting these two. Now there's two teams that are outliers now. And by the way, if I was the ACC, I would be a little bit scared right now. And as I said Monday, we have Dabo Swinney. Dabo's against expansion. He wants to see lesser games in the regular season. Now you add this component, what we've just seen here over the last 24 hours with OU and Texas. The two teams that are being prominently mentioned right now are Notre Dame and Clemson. If you're the Big Ten, do you go to Clemson? Hey, what do you want? Tell us. What do you want to join the conference? Or if you're the Big Ten, do you say this? Hey, listen, man, I know you guys have that great television package with NBC. You guys get to keep 95% of it. Do you want to join the Big Ten? And think about this if you're Notre Dame. Okay, the Big Ten basketball, Big Ten baseball, Big Ten wrestling. Okay, Big Ten sports. It's pretty good for your athletic department, because remember something, you also get money from all the other institutions that are generating money. And get this, you no longer have to be in the conversation where you can only be as high as fourth if you're going to have expansion in the college football playoff. Remember what Notre Dame said? Notre Dame agreed that they'll never be higher than fourth because they don't have a conference championship, and they've agreed to expand as long as you give them 2 playoff games at their building, which is revenue. Notre Dame said, okay. Now you get to kind of actionate that. If you're in the Big Ten, you kind of throw that out of the room now, because then you get a chance to play in a conference championship. And then there's Clemson. Clemson's money, wow. Man, you're talking big money. You're talking almost Texas A&M money. They generate a load of dough, dude. Look, Jimbo Fisher makes $7 million as the head coach in College Station coaching the Aggies. Steve Sarkisian, he's making $5.5 to $6 million being the head coach of the Texas Longhorns. And I mean, in the last 15 years, Texas has won 3 Big 12 titles. Texas has been, you want to hear something crazy? Texas has been in the top 10 as many times as Mississippi State's been in the top 10 in the last 15 years. Man, if Texas goes in the SEC, I don't know. Are you talking about a 4-7 team? If OU goes into the SEC, what are you talking, 9-3? I mean, are you really thinking that you're going to go into those two programs are going to go into that conference and you're going to dominate like you dominated that sorry-ass Big 12? Man, that's a whole different league, man. That you got the best. 65 players were drafted in the top 7 rounds of the NFL draft this last year. 65 players. I think it's, what is it, like 200 and some odd players, 278 or something like that. Maybe it's 300 players, 325. I forget what the number is on guys who get drafted. What was the last pick in the draft? They're like 300 maybe, 325. 65 guys came out of the SEC. The best players in the United States play in the southeastern part of the United States of America in that conference. Now you're going to add these two. Big 12 will go away. I mean, and know this, if you're Mountain West or you're Conference USA, what's the point of being around? What's the point? Big 10, Pac-12, SEC. You got 3 major conferences now. And the rest of these conferences are kind of just like what? Craps and giggles to fill out schedules for these other big programs? Those teams, what do you know what's happened with this move here, OU and Texas going to the SEC? You made it almost virtually impossible to come up with a playoff format that's fair to everyone. Not just fair to the power conferences, but fair to everyone. They've changed the entire landscape. People in Mountain West, Conference USA, Sun Belt have to be frightened for their jobs right now. Because what's the sense of having a conference? Like if you're there at UCF and you're UCF, okay, you're scared. Where do I go play? What conference am I going to really be part of here now? Okay. Where do I go? TCU, the same thing. Those are great power conferences. Fantastic. I mean, power conference type programs, I should say. What do you do next? All right, we'll take a brief time out to keep it here on the National Football Show.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 to 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. That's tonight. That's my national show. National Football Show. Ugh, got so many shows going on at one time. What a putz. What a putt. I'm sitting here thinking, Bruno's like this to me tonight. He's like, I was just talking to Tony, and Tony's going like this, who we just had on in the last hour. Tony's going like this. Wait, listen here, Sills. I can't have WAPs for the name of the bocce ball team. I'm like, okay, what do you mean? He goes, oh, because, I told you, man, I've got papers, unlike the people that are down at the border now. It's impossible. So we're going to do the Stugats versus the Dagos. And it'll be in the Philadelphia area near you coming this fall. That's what he wants to do. He wants to put a bocce ball tournament on. I said, yeah, I'll bring the Coronas and I'll say we're ready to go. He goes, Coronas? Oh, no, we have to have something else. I'm like, no. I want Coronas. I like Coronas. You bring the Modelo's, I'll bring the Coronas. It's like, all right. It'll be Bocce du Bocce. I have no idea what that means. Just keeping score here. Bocce du Bocce. Have a bocce ball tournament. Sorry. Hey, maybe my confusion is still this Indian story. Oh, my God. Oh, the Cleveland Indians. What have you done? You basically took a blowtorch to yourself. It's funny. My aunt always tells me, don't bring up stories about your past or don't bring up stories that could incite people. I said, well, it's kind of hard to do because of who I am and what I've done and what people perceive. The Indians kind of did the self-inflicted, like cutting of their own wrist here on this. Why would you even bring that? What's the point? There just doesn't seem to be a point in this whole thing. All right. Anyway, we appreciate everybody here aboard the National Football Show. Thank you so much. By the way, if you missed that interview with Bruno, go to the JAKIB Media channel. He was hilarious today, man. I was Farmer Tony, one of the absolute I like Farmer Tony. I think it's a good look for him. All right. So my boy Cal, prior to going on the air, he's one of our producers of the program. Hey, man, this Davante Adams story. This is a pretty big story. What do you think? Good segment. Here. Hey, Cal, I got it here. We're good. Big Sills got it down here. We're good. Look, see? Look here. Number 12. I got it right here. I got it at 12. I got it right here, man. Nothing gets by Big Sills. I got you, man. I kind of plugged into everything. As long as the computer's working. And my boy Xander's telling me work a full week, Sills, then we'll talk. I'm like, all right. Hey, how you doing? We're good. He does have a point, though, my boy Cal. It is a good segment because you know what you figure out here? So Davante Adams decides to stop his contract conversation going on with the Packers. Why would he do that? You think this is Aaron Rodgers related? You bet your ass it's Aaron Rodgers related. If Aaron Rodgers has 1 year in the building and he's seen that bum that he has in Jordan Love, the way he throws the rock, don't you think just with him, hey, how about this? If Davante Adams was confident watching Jordan Love throw the football, don't you think he'd be going like this? I'll tell you what, man, let's work on this contract extension here. I really like what I see. I think this kid's going to help me continue to go on the projection that I'm looking at to one day continue to try to win championships, and also maybe at the end of it all, for me to be a potential Hall of Famer. Don't you think that's all going into his team? And here, follow me on this one. How many practices do you think you've gotten a chance to watch now and to work with Jordan Love, the quarterback that you drafted a year ago? Over 100? Would you say? Last year, practices and all that, surely they've thrown the football to each other, even playing catch or just watching him. Don't you get a sense that he knows what that kid looks like and knows what that kid's capable of doing? So he stops the contract talks. He knows that the adversarial relationship between Mark Murphy and the quarterback is going to result. Do we not agree that 2021 for Aaron Rodgers is going to be the swan song, and this is going to be like the Elton John, last tour, I think. I mean, the last tour has been going on for 2 years now for Elton. This is the final tour for Elton. Dude, you said that 3 years ago. We're still on the final tour. All right. It's a long final tour. I guess we got to hit every place, right, before we're calling it final. But don't you think he would have went like this? Green Bay's a place I want to play. He's a quarterback that I think can help me still. Or with this action here, I don't want to sign, or I don't want to even talk about. I don't even talk about a contract extension, right? And he stopped it. He's going to wait and see how this thing plays out with Aaron. If Aaron's here another 3 years, he'll probably sign a 3-year contract extension. There's no doubt Davante Adams is going to tie his train, and he's going to tie his caboose to that train known as Aaron Rodgers. He's clearly going to do that. If Rodgers is 2 years, he's probably 2 years. If he's 3 more years, Davante's probably 3 more years. That is the first wide receiver that I have seen who has some kind of common sense that gets it. He knows he could be the look. Let's take a look at what's going on here now with Odell Beckham. Okay. Look at Odell Beckham. He had Eli Manning at the back end of his 9, right? This guy's on the back 9 of his career, and he's still at 91 yards a game. This guy goes to Cleveland with Baker Mayfield. He's got 61 yards a game. He's been injured, and he's never been able to fit into that offense. Odell Beckham in Cleveland is a bust. I know people out there, I won't name any names. I just named you one of them, but no one name me any names. This guy's a star. Yeah, because one-handed kid. Watch this. Look. This is what I think of Odell Beckham. And then the rest of it on a boat with his boy smoking weed, I think, allegedly. That's a heck of a poster. Great catch. Oh, it was a wonderful catch on Monday night. Was that in the Super Bowl? Yeah, it was a Monday night thing. Did that thing result in a division title? That's a great catch. Well, what's he done since? It's OBJ, man. You see him with my boy Cal loves this. You see him with the gold hair, fancy shoes? Oh, yeah, no, I've seen that. Has he helped Cleveland win? Oh, no, that's right. He got hurt last year. He wasn't really part of that because they were kind of struggling when he was on the team. Then he gets hurt, and, geez, what an epiphany. But Baker and Kevin Stefanski, the coach, get it. And they're like, well, look at this, man. Don't really need that guy. But now, get this, he's healthy. Yeah, you better be saying that because you're trying to sell a car here that's been banged up and no good for a while. But Davante Adams gets it. He's like, nah, man, if I'm going to pick a new place, where do I want to play? Let me think. Where would I want to play? If I wanted to win ball games and I'm Davante Adams, where would I want to play? Where I see the guy that can get me to football. How about Seattle? Can you imagine Davante Adams in Seattle with Russell Wilson? Here. Well, that's a check. How about in Los Angeles? Ooh, wait a minute. I think you're going to be shocked on the team I picked, though. Los Angeles? You mean, Hollywood? Sunset Strip? SoFi Stadium? Chargers? Justin Herbert? What about the other guy? I don't know. Well, it's the Rams. Yeah. I like the gear the Chargers have. And the quarterback's younger. And the coach is younger. The defense has Bosa on it. They got just as much talent, if not more talent, than what the Rams do. Oh, I know one of my guys, Aaron Donald's on the other side. I get it. Or, I forgot about him and Jalen Ramsey. Oh, I'm sure that'll make a difference in the NFC West. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, Donald's great. I know. He's just spectacular. And try not running around box. We'll be all right. So if I'm Devontae Adams, I do this. Wait, okay. Maybe I go to Los Angeles and I go to Hollywood there. But Kyler Murray, looks like you're going to have an opening real soon there with DeAndre Hopkins and what he's saying about this vaccination issue. Remember I told you this? Oh, wait a minute. I forgot something here. I got to text somebody. Here, I got it because, certain people get a little bit upset with vaccination talk. I have to talk vaccination because DeAndre Hopkins now doesn't want to take a vaccination shot. Is it okay? Send. Hang on for a second. I'm waiting. I hate it very much, but it's a story. Not that I care, but thank you. Yeah, we'll hit on DeAndre here in a minute. So no, but all kidding aside, Devontae Adams is now going to be doing this. He's going to be picking a place that's going to be conducive for him to try to still win championships and to try to get those numbers so that he can get potentially to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And sitting there in Green Bay with that dude up there that he knows sucks out loud, and I'm talking Jordan Love, because if he watch this, if you were in Kansas City and you were a wide receiver like Hill, say you're Cheetah, and you're sitting there and Alex Smith is on the team, and you're watching Patrick Mahomes as the practice backup quarterback, you mean to tell me you weren't doing this? This son-of-a-b is great. Are you kidding? This dude is spectacular. Man, you bet I'm going to sign a long-term contract. Guy ends up signing a 10-year, $500 million deal. How you doing? Right? He ends up signing a big-time contract like that. So, yeah, to one of my producers, Cal, story 12. It is. See, look. I circled it right there. Number 12, just so we're keeping score here. All right. So now we have another vaccination story. I told you this stuff is going to keep coming around. Cole Beasley's now barking, I'll retire. No, you're not. Shut up. Not retiring over getting shots. Watch this. I'm one of those guys like Tony Bruno was in the last hour. I'm not going to sit here and be a proponent to tell you to get a shot or not get a shot. I don't care. Oh, by the way, 80% of the NFL, it came out from the Players Association today, that 80% of the NFL NFL players has had one shot, okay, or more. So 80% of the league is at least trying to make an effort to do it. So, okay, there's at least a number there to where the players are in the room. I had Cole Beasley, wide receiver for the Bills. Hey, man, this is against my right. Dude, okay, well, whatever. Hey, watch this. Let me just put it to you this way. Your rights versus my paycheck? Hey, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you a broadcasting story to go along with these idiot football players that are saying this right now. So, as you know, Big Sills has had some controversy in his day, and some of the things that I've said on the air, I have in the end been right. Everybody in Miami got on my ass when I said LeBron James will never retire here as a Heat member. Everybody, the program director, how can you say that? He loves it here. I go, you think that dude is going to retire a member of the Miami Heat? And they go, oh, my God. And I was like, he'll never stay here. He was out the door as quick as you could get. The head football coach at the Miami Hurricanes. I was like this. There was a dude. His name was Al Golden. He sucked. This guy was horrible. He was a horrible coach. And I kept going, this guy's driving the program into the toilet. And the problem was I was on the flagship station of the Miami Hurricanes. I'm going to get to the point here. So in the end, I ended up being right. But I was fired for those things because I was being, as they said, personal. Just because you're right doesn't mean you're going to keep your gig. So being right in broadcasting, you got to be smart in what you're doing when you're talking about things that could potentially cost you a job. Do you really want to be that right? Hey, man, I was right. Did you get – my wife said this. Did you get fired? Yeah. I goes, wow, congratulations. I was like, okay. Yeah, well, I was right, though, in the end. Yeah, you're unemployed now. How's it feel getting unemployment checks? Well, I was right. Oh, well, congratulations. You were right. So Cole Beasley and DeAndre Hopkins. I'd rather retire. So you're going to pass up $16 million checks. You'll never make that money as long as you live. As long as you live in any other, who do you think you're going to become? Hey, watch this. See, this is the thing some of these NFL guys and that not everybody's going to be LeBron James and have $1 billion, equity portfolio that they've built. You're not going to have that. Most athletes, they end up running out of money, especially football players, by the time they're 35, even if you've had an extended career in the league. Warren Sapp made like $190 million, and he's broke. 109. T.O., same thing, made almost $200 million. He's broke. So before you start doing this, well, I'm going to make a point here, and the point is that my integrity's on. Dude, shut up. Shut up. This is what I would do. If I was Cole Beasley and DeAndre Hopkins, I would say this. Well, I'm just from now on going to be in a position where I'm not going to speak to the media for the rest of the year. I don't want to answer questions about vaccination shots. I just want to play football. Yeah, but you have an obligation. Then fine me. Because I'd rather have you fine me than lose my job. Okay? I'd rather have that in fines than somebody coming to me, calling me in my office or calling you into their office and going like this. This is just way too much of a distraction. We can't have this on our football team. We just can't have it. And then they trade you to some dumpy place or they end up releasing you. They kicked Colin Kaepernick out of the sport because he took a knee. You don't think the court of public opinion right now with these vaccination shots that you're not going to get the court of public opinion putting heat on the Bills, the Cowboys, and some of these other places along with advertisers? How about if you are a restaurant chain and you advertise with the Cowboys, I'm just using them, and all of a sudden you got a player like Dak Prescott that's saying that he's not vaccinated. You think that's a good look for the organization? That's a distraction for the organization. They want none of that. That ends up hurting football in the end because you know why? There's just too many distractions. Way too many distractions that can end up hurting that football team's success and an opportunity. Look, again, not to hang on this, but man, DeAndre, you got to look at your wallet first. Hey, looking at your integrity and looking at what's right and wrong, I get it. You don't want to compromise yourself. I get it. I understand that. But then at the end of the day, you're going to start looking at your bank account, aren't you, going, Jesus, man, do I really want to put my job? Hey, even if you've got $100 million in the bank and you can make another $20 million per year for the next 5 years, you're just going to kick into the toilet $100 million? Man, not me. I'm going to get as much money as I possibly can out of what I'm doing right now. And then, hey, get this. You got your entire life to make points. once you're done with the game, you've got your entire life to make a point. So I just totally look at what they're doing. I understand it. I respect it. But at the end, bro, look at the money you're making. So you'd sell yourself out for a pay? Yeah. Whoa. For that kind of money? Yeah. Hey, for $100,000? Maybe not. For $16 million? You bet your ass I'm gonna. You think watch this. Do you, like I was talking about with my radio career, you think your point is more important to you than that paycheck that could support your generations of family members even after you're dead? It's more important than you going, I'm not getting a vaccination. How dumb does that sound? How dumb? All right, let's move on. No, I know. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I just got a text. Move on. It's, anyway. All right. Show the Raiders. They'll be showing up to training camp, too, this week. I think this weekend. The Raiders. They show up with Big John Gruden again. Great coach, man. Super Bowl champion, as you know. Oh, and the quarterback guru. 19-29. Do you know what Jack Del Rio was when he was fired? Jack was like 27-23 when he was fired. Had a great record. At least they were winning. At least you saw a projection and a trajectory that they were going in the right way, and you were projecting that you saw some of the talent on the team that was starting to develop. You were going, hey, man, these two dudes over here on the defensive line, they look like they're getting somewhere. I thought Jack did a hell of a job. By the way, I think Jack should be the next head football coach at USC. It's where he played his college ball. It's a former teammate of mine. They were winning. Now you got Mr. Raider in there. John Gruden hired a TV star. What happens when you hire TV stars? That's the Yankees with Aaron Boone. Yeah, I know. Oh, did you see the home runs that he hit? Yeah, it was like Odell Beckham. New York's got a bunch of characters right now, managers and coaches. Think of this for a second. So you got Odell Beckham from New York and Cleveland, right? And you've got Aaron Boone, who you hired off the ESPN television Sunday Night Football set. Congratulations to you, man. He's a TV star. Too bad the Yankees suck. Yeah, nice job. Anyway, because he's a TV star, you know. And now you got a TV star with John Gruden. Was John Gruden ever a good coach? Yeah, he was. You know where? In Oakland. The first time. And why was that? That's because he had Ken Herrick, Al Davis. He had a personnel department that was picking his talent for him. You had a salary cap guru and Bruce Allen, and all the components in that organization were working. John did a nice job that first time around. I don't think he had a losing season at all. I believe it was 5 years that he was there in Oakland the first time around. That's how he got the Buck job, is because of the job that he was doing with the Raiders. And he really did a great job, man. Fantastic. So he gets the Buck job. Remember what happened with the Bucks? Dungy had gone in there and cleaned house. That place was a train wreck when Dungy rolled in there. And by the way, for the record, when I rolled into Tampa, I had never been around more losing ways and how people did crap than even the facility sucked. The whole thing was awful. I get it. I'll never forget. I walked into the Buccaneers place, and I think it was like an old trailer that they had set up for their PR place. It was just my facilities at Miami were better. The weight room was like 500 square feet. Not that you have to have all that crap to be good. I mean, the Eagles facility, if you've ever saw it when it was at the Vet, that wasn't the best place, but that was pretty much how the NFL was when it came to facilities back then. The college facilities were 10 times better. And I'll never forget, I showed up at the Buck place. I'm like, this is the NFL. The only thing that separated it was that you got paid handsomely. They gave you big money. And it was a train wreck. So Gruden takes over Tampa Bay after Dungy had taken the broom, washed the walls, cleaned out all the garbage that was in there because of the Culver House regime that was in there prior to the Glazers taking over. The Glazers wanted to get a great coach in the building. They wanted to get football people in there. Let's not forget, Jerry Angelo, Rich McKay, all those guys were in the place. They were in that building. They had so many great personnel guys. Their front office, man, got pilfered, and people went in there and started cherry picking some of the people, not only on their football team, but also in their front office. And I want to even say Mickey Loomis had something to do with that stuff too. I don't know if it was Mickey or somebody else was in that office that went to Seattle. And it was really a great setup. So John inherited all that. First year they win the Super Bowl. I believe they went 12-4. And after that, they win that Super Bowl. Everything went downhill. Why? Because John Gruden was put in charge of personnel. He was put in charge of coaching when it came to hiring the coaches. He was put in charge of the scouting department. He picked his own scouts. That thing, by the time he got fired, remember something, he got fired. He didn't quit. John Gruden got fired in that building. And so by the time he got, even Bruce Allen got fired. By the time he got fired, everyone went like this. Wow, John Gruden really ran out of gas. What happens? He goes to ESPN and he gets that gigantic gig, and everyone sees him and hears him. Well, John sounds like he knows what he's doing. Wow. Remember, every time there was a big-time coaching job open, his name was the first one mentioned because he was so young. Tennessee opened. His name was mentioned. The Redskin job at the time, not the team, was open. Turned it down. The Rams gig, he turned it down. By the way, how his brother Jay got the Washington job? They offered it to John first, and Bruce Allen was the president of the Washington team. They couldn't get John, so John goes, why don't you hire Jay? And they did. And who did Jay bring into the building? Sean McVay. Sean McVay worked for Jay. That's how that whole tentacle worked. And they recommended him to Stan Kroenke with the Rams because John was offered the job in Los Angeles to take the Rams gig. You see, Kroenke wanted to do the same thing that Mark Davis did when Davis moved the team to Vegas. He needed a superstar coach. Kroenke wanted a superstar head coach. What happened? Well, John turned it down because it wasn't the right time. Mark Davis promised him a 10-year, $100 million contract. That's what got John Gruden out of the building. And if we've seen anything what's going on at ESPN right now, you see all the people leaving. Skip Bayless, Colin Cowherd, now Maria Taylor, all the big stars, they started making cutbacks. John saw the writing. He at one time was the highest paid employee that was in the building in Bristol. And he knew it was coming down the wire because they were not getting great ratings. The ESPN Monday Night Package was not getting the best teams that the NFL was putting in the building because the NFL really didn't like John calling games. John sent him out, especially when Mark Davis gave him the deal to be able to coach the Raiders. And so he's 19-29. John's been given complete autonomy of football operations, the same way Jimmy Johnson was given. And what has he done with the Khalil Mack deal? Look at that. All those draft choices that he sent to, or he got from Chicago for the Khalil Mack deal, and also, too, when he sent Amari Cooper to the Dallas Cowboys, what's John done with them? You're 19-29. You're kind of getting better. You're like limping along getting better. So, dude, you got to have a big year. Or if I'm Mark Davis, I know Mark Davis is going to owe him a lot of money. He's going to owe him a boatload of dough. He is going to owe him a lot of cash if he ends up blowing him out. Because I've said this before about John Gruden. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he's got a great persona. The poster for the movie and all the promoting of the movie actually is better than the movie. Okay, right? I think the poster of the movie looks a little bit better than, what the movie does. So, yeah, I don't know, man. John Gruden's got to have a big year, in my opinion. He does. He's really got to have a big year. Or you're got to start doing this. Okay, so I think he's 3 games over 500. And I brought this up to you before. You think he's a better coach than Dick Vermeil? I don't. You think, Gruden's a Hall of Fame kind of guy to get a $10 million deal. He's one of the highest paid guys in the National Football League at that position. You really think that John Gruden is that good a coach? I don't know. All right. Take a brief timeout. I do want to hit one more time on this Jimmy Johnson story with Jerry Jones as we get ready for the Hall of Fame speeches. We'll do it next. You keep it here on the National Football Show.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
As long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
Dan Sileo, National Football Show. The hair, looks like a bad hair day for Big Sills. Hey, at my age, I'm glad I got hair. How you doing? Yeah, my aunt used to think I was losing it, but it ain't happening. I just, it's a religious thing that I do. I cut my own hair at times, so it's all good. I can't get over having Tony Bruno. We got to do that again, don't we? Two crazy-ass paisans Tony's in a farmer's hat and like he's drinking Modelo. See, maybe that's what I need to start. Maybe I do need to start getting hammered on the air. I see Joe Rogan getting stoned all the time. Why not? Oh, wait, maybe I'm not supposed to say that because I don't know if there'll be any snowflake people telling me, because they start whispering like on your phone and grab and, hey, we don't want anybody getting mad at me. There's always people chirping, hey, look how it sells, we did it with weed and everything, we got people, cancel culture and, oh, is that okay? Just checking. Oh, I got to tell you, Bruno goes, you got to come on my show. I go, man, I don't know. If I come on your show, I'll never be hired again. He goes, you're never going to be hired again anyway. I'm like, good point. Good point. Yeah. All right. I want to tell you some personal stories about a man that I really revere. And I have people always telling me, so you use Jimmy a lot as a benchmark guy, and you always talk about Jerome Brown. Those outside of my family and growing up with my family, my Italian family in the Cove in Connecticut, and playing at the University of Miami, and my current family that I have for almost 30 years now with my beautiful daughter. Those are the greatest times of my life. And being around that guy taught me so much on what it was about to win. I have never been in a position to have a guy carve out what winning meant. And do you know what winning means to me and what that man taught me? As you know, by the way, Coach Jimmy Johnson has been on the National Football Show. And he was my first guest. Jimmy opened, now that I think about it, right? I think Coach Jimmy Johnson was my first guest on my show. I think he opened up my show. He was. Xander just said he was. Guy who's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's in the news with Jerry. He did. That's right. He opened up the National Football Show. And I told him, I said, you're my first guest. He goes, proud to do it. I'd do it for you. Trying to make a splash with my new business partners. Jimmy, can you come on? He goes, what time you want me? I said, how about 4:30? First big segment. He goes, sure. It was a no-brainer. And by the way, I can call him anytime. Well, that's not really true. I get 5 interviews a year. Okay. And when football season comes, I get them once a month. So I can't go crazy on him because he likes fishing. And this guy just carved out winning. I've told you the story how he got down. He didn't know me from a can of paint. He had never heard of me. Northeast kid. You'd think the University of Miami does a lot of recruiting in the Northeast. Why would they? They got all the kids down in Florida, in South Florida. They don't need kids up there. I always tell people, if you just recruit South Florida, you'll look at Alabama's starting defensive backfield. They were all from Dade County and Broward County. They were all from like Fort Lauderdale in Miami. Every kid that started for the national champion Alabama Crimson Tide they were from South Florida, the entire secondary. That started in that title game. I said, if you just recruit that area, you're never going to lose a ball game. So he brings me down there. I know I told you some of this. He says, listen here, man. I hear you got thrown out of Maryland. What was this? You threw a guy out of a window or something? I go, it was a one story and it was in a snowdrift. You know how the snowdrifts are in the Northeast? It's like 2 feet. He's like, oh yeah, well, it sounded good when they were describing it. He goes, listen, you pull that crap down here, kid. I'll put your ass on a plane or better yet, a bus because it's cheaper. You'll never stay here. He made it so hard for me. My aunt kind of loves this story. He put me in the auxiliary freshman locker room next to an overflowing toilet. It was going into my shoes, my shoulder pads. I had to have my helmet up. Smelled like piss the whole time I was there for the first month and a half. Walking out to practice, had piss stains sitting there. My scholarship had been taken away from me from Maryland. Oh, when I walked on, I had to walk on Miami first. That's why if I should post it. Sports Illustrated had the all-time college football walk-ons. Kevin Green's on that, and so is Art Shell, and so is I think Carl Mecklenburg's on that team. Oh, yeah, Andre Waters is on that team. I should post that. Sports Illustrated had the all-time like walk-on. I had to walk on. Jimmy goes like this. You got 2 months to earn a scholarship because my family couldn't afford $45,000 a year to go to Miami. What are you, crazy? That's a lot of dough, dude, back in the 80s. So I finally benched like 480 when I first got there. I ended up leaving 550. I ran a 4.8. It was 278 pounds. And I was killing dudes. And I took no prisoners because this guy was not taking prisoners. He made it so I had to work my ass off every single freaking day to set a tone in that building where, like, you know how you see Giannis? You know why I respect Giannis so much? Because Giannis plays hard every moment. Not every play, but every moment. That's how I did it. How I had to. Guys, I had to earn a scholarship, man. My folks, my grandfather told me, you're going to the Army, man. So he finally stops practice one day, looks over at me. He goes, come here. Got the team together. It's about an hour left to practice. He goes, Dan Sileo's won a scholarship. Everybody cheered. He goes, take it in. He comes walking in later. He goes, I'm proud of you. I think you're going to be somebody special for me. Left there All-American. You know, we had numerous run-ins and all kinds of stuff. I think I told you the story that, you know, I didn't have blankets and sheets and stuff. This shows you the kind of man he was. And so I stole him from Shula's resort where we used to stay. And he came to me. He goes, you mother, did you steal them towels and those blankets and those sheets from Shula's hotel? The coach was good enough to put us up for nothing. What are you doing? I go, I didn't have any bed sheets or blankets back in my dorm. His demeanor changed immediately. He goes, for God's sakes, why didn't you tell me? And I said, well, I didn't want to tell you. I was embarrassed. And by the way, it wasn't that my family didn't have, I just forgot to bring them. So I never thought anything of it. Next day, I go in there. There's 3 sets of sheets, toothpaste, soap, hand towels, blankets, all laying out on my bed in my dorm room. I walk in there, I look over at Jerome Brown. I go, who the hell, who's this? Is this yours? He goes, no, Kevin O'Neill, our trainer, brought it in. I say, for the love of God, Jimmy said, send him out to put these sheets in here. I show up at practice that afternoon. I run up to him. I go, hey, coach, thank you. He goes, for what? I said, thank you very much for putting that stuff in there on my bed. And he goes, just don't ever do that shit again. I'll use that. Don't ever do that again. You see, folks, my point to this whole thing is coaching football players is more than just Sundays. Coaching football players to make them something that potentially they can become. Jimmy has a saying, you tell a player what he is, he'll remain. You tell a player what he can be, he'll become it. Those of you out there that think that that's just something that's written on a chalkboard, I can promise you and tell you from example, from experience, you could say all that all you want, but when you get special people like that, those are the coaches that you remember for a lifetime. So when he goes into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, He's already in. When he gives his speech, he's going to be talking to dudes like me. I'm not the only story. Coach Dexter Manley, Leroy Solomon. I got the guy's jersey back here. Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, who's introducing him. There's been countless guys that have been easy to coach and hard to coach. And that's why he got so emotional. And to see Jerry admit that he effed that whole thing up, and you let a guy like that roll out of your room. It's like the Eagles letting Andy Reid roll out. He let a Hall of Fame coach just bug out of town and win somewhere else. It's crazy. All right. Hey, man, I want to thank my guys. My guys do such a sensational job each and every single day. Thank you so much, Krause. Cal, you do a spectacular job. Thank you so much, Big Joe. Hey, look, if you missed any of the show, go over to the JAKIB Media channel. You could share it, like it. We really appreciate it. We're on 4 to 6 Eastern time each and every single Monday through Friday till tomorrow. Actually, until Monday. By the way, Dabo Sweeney will join us at 4:30 Monday, and we'll talk about the mess that is college football. We'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend. You keep it here on the JAKIB Media channel. We'll see you